Hello guys, my name is TheRussianBadger, and I'm here today to showcase the brand new Phantom Bow in the Final Stand DLC that was just released today on November 18th for Battlefield 4. And I'd like to start off by saying that I have not yet figured out how to unlock the weapon through the Phantom Operative assignment on Battlelog because the description just shows a question mark, and I think I'll leave it to Jack Frags and his crew to figure that one out. So all the footage that I'm going to show you was taken from an unranked server with some friends of mine where everything is already unlocked. Now, the Phantom Bow can be used by any class in the game and can be found in the carbine category of the weapons at the very bottom. And as far as attachments go, you can't change the optics or the main accessories. So you have to stick with the default iron sight optic and the stabilizer as the accessories. So don't worry about changing those. The only item that you can customize on the bow, beyond the color of the camouflage of course, is the ammo type that you use. And the three different ammo types that you have available are the broadhead, bullet point, and explosive tip. The broadhead is designed to provide balance in range and damage and is easy to identify with a large metal tip with hollowed blades. The bullet point sacrifices damage for weight reduction as the arrow is designed to fly straight and true over a longer distance. And finally, there's the explosive tip, which features an explosive arrowhead that detonates on impact. The weight of this charge greatly decreases the effective range for obvious reasons because it's so damn heavy. Now, when it comes to firing the bow itself, you have two different options. One of them is terrible and one of them is not terrible. If you left click or simply press the fire button, your character will automatically draw back an arrow and immediately fire it without pausing at all. I like to basically refer to this as hip fire, given that it's inaccurate and the arrows don't fly consistently in the same place when you do it over and over again. Now, of course, the not terrible alternative is to simply hold your right click or the aim down sight button. In this case, you'll draw back an arrow but not release it until you left click or quote unquote fire the weapon. I think it's easiest to think about it this way. Unless you are about to die because you are being chased by the spookiest, scariest skeleton you've ever seen in your entire life and you absolutely have to fire a desperation shot with left click, always aim down your sight and then fire. It is undoubtedly worth it. Alright, every single time, aim down sight and then fire. It will always be better for you. Another feature of the bow that you can see are the iron sights, if you will, which are green, yellow, and red. Although I'm sure there's an exact science to it, just think about it this way. I was able to headshot a buddy of mine from over 50 meters away with the default broadhead arrow by simply aiming the green strip slightly to the right of his face, with zero compensation for potential arrow drop due to gravity. So, although you should definitely be careful with the bow because there's some initial arc when you first fire it, it's something that you'll get used to. There isn't really a need to compensate for distance unless you're really using the explosive tip on a consistent basis. There's very little, or if at all, noticeable drop unless you're firing an extremely long distance, which I don't think you should be with an arrow to begin with. Now moving on, here's what you should know about the different ammo types and how much damage they deal to different body parts. Keep in mind that with the defensive perk, it does have a massive influence over these, so I'll give you the lowdown as to exactly how the ammo types behave against both users with and without the defensive perk equipped. With a default broadhead tip, against a defensive perk user at close range, it will deal 93 damage if you hit him in the legs, belly, or upper torso. You can only one-shot him if you strike him in the head. With the broadhead tip against a player that's not running the defensive perk, you will deal 93 damage to the legs and the belly at close range, and you can one-shot them if you strike them in the upper torso or the head. That's basically the clear difference that the defensive perk makes. If you're using the default broadhead and your enemy is running defensive, you can only insta-kill him with a headshot, but if he's not running defensive, you can insta-kill him either with an upper chest shot or a headshot. That's the difference. As for the bullet point arrow, if you are firing upon a defensive perk user at close range, you'll deal 74 damage to the legs, belly, or upper chest. You can only insta-kill him with a headshot. However, if you're firing a bullet point arrow against an enemy not running the defensive perk at close range, you'll deal 74 damage to the legs and belly, 80 damage to the upper chest, and of course, one-shot him if you hit him in the head. That's the main takeaway from the bullet point arrow, so just pay attention to that one little fact. You can only one-shot them with the bullet point arrow if you hit them in the head. End of story, regardless of the defensive perk, so keep that in mind. As for the explosive tip arrow, if you're firing upon an enemy running the defensive perk in close range, you'll deal 74 damage to the legs, belly, and upper torso, with the only way to one-shot them obviously being a headshot. And if you're firing the same explosive tip arrow against an enemy not running the defensive perk in close range, you'll deal 74 damage to the legs and 80 damage to the belly and the torso, with the only way to insta-kill obviously being a headshot. Now, although we had some mixed results in terms of those exact damage values because of the explosive damage, it was pretty inconsistent in a lot of the testing that we did. The role of the explosive tip is pretty simple to me. It serves to annoy individuals and potentially be effective against larger groups, while still having the ability to one-shot someone if you happen to hit them in the face. But this thing has a lot more drop, and like the arc is much stronger, so just be careful about that. And one final item that we're still testing is how many people the arrow can potentially collateral. And as you saw in the intro, it seems like it can go through an unlimited number of people, but it's difficult to test because of the head bob on every single character. Just getting everybody in a line and getting them to stand still is really enough of a chore. And that's about it for the Phantom Bow. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And if you guys would like to join us on our servers in a game type that we're calling the Hunger Games, which is Phantom Bow only, I'll leave a link down in the description, and it is an absolute blast to play. So I'll link you down below to all the servers that we have running it. Now, keep in mind that we're not the creators of this makeshift game mode. We're borrowing the idea from Ravic, who started this theme in Battlefield 3 with the crossbow, calling it the Hunger Games. I recommend that you check out his video that I've left in the description if you have not already. And other than that, I would like to thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time with some more Final Stand footage. See ya!